Okay, guys, we're gonna go here. I'm gonna start up the music, and you're not gonna be able to hear the music, but it's okay. Tonight, a world exclusive. 3 friends on a weekend camping trip. 2 nights of not knowing if it was a dream or if it was real. Not until what they found on the hood of their truck that it was not a dream. Tonight, they are here to tell their story. A story so awesome that a documentary is now being filmed. You will see for the first time the trailer for the film, and it will show the evidence that was left behind. So sit back, everyone. Make sure you're comfortable because you're not going to want to miss this. The film, the documentary film titled 10/11/02. No audio. No audio, what? Check 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2. Can you guys hear me out there? I hear you. I hear you. Check 1, 2. What's going on? All right, here we go. Can you guys hear me out there? Check 1, 2. Okay, here we go. Here we go. All right. Camera, lights, action. Good evening, everyone. If you are here with us tonight, you are in for the biggest treat you're ever going to get. This is probably going to be one of the best shows, and it's going to be up there with any show that I'm going to be doing in the near future. Good evening. My name is Jeffrey Gonzalez, and right now we are checking the audio, and we want to make sure everything is up and running. Audio is fine here. So here we go. Hello, everyone. My name is Jeffrey Gonzalez. I am your host for SPS Radio, coming to you live from Central California in a town called Fresno, what I call Paranormal Central. Tonight, we have a treat. We have an abduction case that went down in Sierra National Forest, east of Fresno, California, and it happened in 2002. 3 campers were camping, got there on a Friday night, and Friday night, Saturday night, things happened to them that you and I would not want to ever happen to us. That's for sure. So we got on the phone right now, and here in the studio, we have Adolf. I don't even know your last name, Adolf.
Santa Steven.
Santa Steven, Adolf. And then on the phone from the Bay Area, the other abductee, his name is Ken McKenzie. Are you there, Ken?
Yeah, Ken Mathis.
Ken Mathis, I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right, I'm just going to raise up the volume a little bit. Okay, and then we have the director of the film, Mackenzie Mathis. Are you there, Mackenzie?
I'm here. Thanks a lot for having me on.
Sweet. All right. I appreciate you guys being here tonight. This show is probably going to go past an hour because there is so much to tell. We're going to show you for the first time world exclusive right up here. We're going to zoom in on it, the trailer for the documentary. And it's going to blow your mind because I've been teasing everybody on the Facebook about what was left from that weekend. It is going to blow everyone away. I interviewed Ken and Adolf about 2 or 3 years ago. A friend of mine at work, where I work at AT&T, told me, you need to go speak to this guy named Adolf. Something happened to him at Courtright Reservoir, east of Fresno, that is right up your alley. And he told me what was going on, and I said, hell. So it took me a while to get a hold of Adolf, and I finally did. And I went and I met him, and I talked to him probably for a couple hours. He showed me a lot of stuff, and I was just blown away. The story that he told, I mean, it scared me to death, because for people who go camping, this is going to scare you as well. And then what happened too is I went and I interviewed Kenneth, and he told me pretty much exactly what happened. And this is something to where, 3 years ago when I interviewed them, I said, this is, somebody has to tell this story. And it looks like it's going to happen. Just so happens that Ken's nephew, is that right? Your nephew, right?
Yep, that's correct.
Nephew happens to be a film student up in the Bay Area. What school do you go to there, Mackenzie?
Well, I'm not in school anymore. I went to San Francisco State University.
Okay.
And just finished up with the grad program last year. So
awesome. Okay.
Recently finished, yeah.
Well, we just finished. Adolf just showed me the 15 or 16 minute CD that he had of Not Your Final Product, and man, oh man, that is awesome. You did an awesome job on that. Unfortunately, we're only going to show the trailer tonight, but the trailer is pretty much going to give you guys a heads up on what's going to be coming up in the near future. But what's on this trailer is the evidence that was left behind on that night. So, okay, well, without any further ado, as they would say, we're going to get into it. What I'm doing tonight, people, is obviously it is recording right now on live stream, and I'm also having an additional recording set up in the back. I have my buddy Alan Thomas, who happens to be a professional cameraman. He is back there manning the whole thing. He's going to zoom in on the screen so you can see the trailer tonight. And at exactly 1 hour, we're going to hold off a little bit. He's going to put another CD in too, because what we're going to happen is I'm going to put this on YouTube for everyone to see at any time, any place, on your cell phone, anywhere. And I think this is what I'm going to be doing from now on, is I'm going to be putting down my shows on YouTube. So just bear with me. If it goes past an hour, which I know it will be, then we'll go to it. So, all right, Adolf, man, yeah. I think all this incident at the camping, the camping trip, I think it all happened because of you. When I interviewed you, you told me that the stuff that happened that night, actually it had happened before, even back then when you were a kid. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. I was always saying stories. People didn't believe me, but I got somebody else that it happened to, and plus we got the handprint. Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking about it.
Oh, the handprint. Okay, well, that's cool. So you told me you used to live. You told me you used to live in Delray, right? South of Sanger.
Right.
And you had situations happen to you at your home down there. Is that right?
Yes.
Now, you even told me at a situation where you went with your dad and you saw some lights out at a dump.
Yeah, the dump was right across the street from our house. And I noticed the glow out there. The hills were probably about 100, 125 feet tall, something like that. And I told my dad, so he got his rifle, his 22, and I got my little BB gun. I was a little kid back then. And
oh, I was wondering where that one was coming. That's funny. Yeah, that's okay.
And anyway, we start walking across the street, across the big open area. We started walking across, and this was probably about 3 o'clock or so. And we started climbing up the hill because the glow was getting a little brighter. Next thing we know, we're walking back toward the house on our driveway. We don't know what happened whatsoever.
So lost time.
Yeah. And then my dad looked at me. He goes, just give me a funny look. And I looked at him, and I go, what happened? He goes, don't say nothing. We went back to the house. And when we got back to the house, it was almost dark. Wow. This was during the summer.
Okay. Now, you just mentioned to me a situation that happened to you. Now, you went to Madison Elementary School, which is kind of funny because I went to Madison Elementary School as well. And you were in 3rd grade. You told me that you guys were having a puppet show.
Yeah.
And the teacher had asked every one of you guys, I guess the theme of the puppet show was the Monster Mash, right?
Right.
And all the kids were advised to go home and make a puppet that had to do with the monster. So you figured, okay, Frankenstein, that type vampire and all that kind of stuff. Now, that day when everybody was supposed to bring their puppets, you brought your puppet. Now, what did the teacher tell you when she first saw that puppet?
She asked me where I got this idea from of the monster that I
Now,
made.
people, remember, he's in 3rd grade. Okay, he's in 3rd grade.
So she asked me where I got this idea of this, monster that I had made. And I just told her it just came in my head. And ended up, she asked me, do you know what alien is? I go, what's an alien? And ended up, when I made the puppet, I used a light bulb. So if you look at a light bulb, it does kind of look like an alien, but I had big eyes on there, a small mouth, and 2 little dots for a nose.
So she said, so she looked at it, and when you told her you had no idea, it just came to you, then she said, well, it's an alien. And you said, well, what's an alien?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know what an alien was or anything like that.
So the whole class had vampires and Frankenstein and the mummy, and Adolf brought in a puppet of an alien head on it. Okay, people? Okay, so obviously whatever's been happening to him started when he was a youngster. He at that point in time, he didn't know what an alien was. So which is, when he told me that story, man, I said, wow. Now, what did she do after she told you what it was and you said, what is an alien? She just walked away, huh?
Yeah, she just walked away, and we went on with our program. And I was the monster on the puppet show, so every time they said monster smash, my hand would go up, everybody else's puppet would go down.
Oh my God. So, okay.
Of course, I had to shake it around a little bit.
So, okay. Now, let's talk about the camping trip. So, obviously now we know that Adolf, that these things have been visiting you for a long time.
Yeah,
obviously.
Definitely.
Now, Kenneth, and you, how long have you known Kenneth?
Since 77.
Since 77. The other camper, what was his name?
That was Kenneth.
So you had 2 Kenneth.
Ken and Kenneth. Kenneth was the one that passed away.
Okay. So there were 3 campers, everybody, at the time this incident occurred. 2 years after the camping trip, or was it 4 years that he passed away?
Probably a couple years.
A couple years afterwards.
4 years.
About 4 years after the 3rd camping party, Kenneth died suddenly of stomach cancer. And they have no clue why or how. I mean, it just happened so quick. Matter of fact, Adolf was telling me that when he was diagnosed of stomach cancer, that he died 4 months afterwards. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And to this day, Ken and Adolf still don't know if what happened to him at the camping trip had anything to do with his buddy passing away. So tonight, all we have is 2. And like I said, Ken is on the phone, Adolf is here, and they're going to tell you what happened that night. So Ken called you up, and now before, weird things happened to you where you'd have the anxiety just to go up to the mountains or go fishing. Just one morning you would wake up and say, I need to go up there, right?
Yeah, that happens to both of us.
Now, did it happen to Kenneth before the camping trip or after?
Yeah.
Oh, so Kenneth even before.
Oh, you mean Ken?
Ken, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Ken.
yeah. We were always going, fishing by ourselves, going to odd places, but ended up a lot of places we were going. It was the same places both of us would go.
Okay, so now see, I didn't know that. Now, so then, Ken, is that right, Ken?
That's correct.
Now, so
it happened earlier before '02, and we didn't kind of realize what we were doing until after 2002. We kind of put the pieces together and said, "Wow, we'll have that same odd calling to go to remote places by ourselves and for the day and fish and hike and explore."
Wow. Okay, so I did not know that. I did not know that this was happening to you way before. So, wow. Okay. Okay, so Ken gave you a call and said, Adolf, I want to go camping. Let's go. What'd you tell him?
I had a bad feeling about going. I was debating, and this was going on for about 3 to 4 weeks or something like that.
Why did you not want to go camping? What was the feeling you were having?
I had a bad feeling that something was going to happen. I just didn't know what. And finally, they convinced me to go. I just have to face my fears, see exactly what happened or what's going to happen.
Right.
I knew something was going to happen. And when I picked up Kenneth, when we got in the vehicle, again, I told him, maybe I should just stay here and don't go up there. I go, but then Ken's going to be up there. He's going to be wondering, what's going on. So Kenneth said, go ahead, face your fears. And I go, yeah. I go, and you can see my fears also, so you can be right next to me.
So, okay, so you decided to go. And now, Ken, who's on the phone right now, you arrived first on the campsite. Is that correct?
That's correct. Going back with it, Jeff, I had to. I've been camping since we were basically like 13, 14, 15. We had always been, camping, and before we could even drive, we would go out to the hills and go fishing. So we've been doing this for, decades already.
Okay.
Before '02. And he'd always tell me, I got a bad feeling about this, and I don't know about that. And I'd say, come on, this is before '02. So I just started just kind of being paranoid, just being AD. And I had to talk him into it, and he kept saying, I don't know, I have a bad feeling about this. I go, it's going to be fine. So eventually he did concede, and he went, kind of reluctantly, though, but he did eventually show up.
Okay. So
yes, I was the first one there that Friday morning.
Now describe, about what time did you get there, and go ahead and describe to everyone the feeling that you were having when you arrived and as you were setting up camp and as you were waiting for Adolf and Kenneth to show up.
Well, what's kind of odd is I've been in this ball for over a decade now. And it's weird is that I look at things now that happened back then, and I didn't understand what was happening, but now I have a little more understanding of this is kind of the way the events kind of unfold and then they kind of tend to work. And one of the things you first get is a feeling of anxiousness, not in a bad way, but like you're going on a trip or an experience. So I was always very excited. And at that time, I remember I couldn't sleep. I was very excited about the next day, anxious, looking forward to it extremely. And I got up. I'm always the first up, and I'm always the first to get there. And I got up that morning probably 7 o'clock. I was ready to go and have it packed. I got to the campsite. It's about a 2.5 to 3 hour drive. And I got there probably by, I believe, around 10 in the morning. There was only one good spot to camp in. I wanted to make sure we got that spot because before we'd been there, we had got other spots because the one spot we wanted to get to was always full. So I want to get there first place and get our spot. We want one spot that's good. And I had got there at 10, and as soon as I got there, my usual routine, I unload my truck and begin to set things up. This was different, though, because the whole time I'm setting up my tent, I keep feeling that someone is looking at me or is watching me.
I don't think I'm on the computer.
And I'm extremely paranoid.
Check. You know what? I knew this was going to happen, but the last time we were on and talking about a very, very major situation that had to do with aliens, my computer system went down and they cut me off. And when I'm saying cut, I don't know if you know this, Kenneth or Ken and Mackenzie, but the powers of B do not want me to talk about all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, because last time we talked, the same thing happened.
Yeah,
they cut us off.
They cut us off
about halfway. And
okay, well, I am not I don't think I'm on. I'm trying to I am trying to
You want to cut the CD? Or leave
I
it
think
on?
they cut us, guys.
Yeah,
I really
leave
do.
this on
God,
so
it-
that we can put this part on, what we're talking about.
Wow.
On the DVD, because everybody, when you put it on YouTube, they can all see what we're going through right here.
This is absolutely crazy. Yeah, let me power it back down. Hold on, you guys, okay? Because Mackenzie, I don't know if you realize this, but
Well, I can hear you guys. I mean,
Oh,
I'm
oh,
following
oh,
you
wait,
on the
wait,
computer, and I can hear fine.
oh, you're on the computers. You can hear us.
I can, yeah.
Oh.
It looks like the folks on the chat can hear you too.
Okay, that's crazy because I am not getting anything on the chat right now. Okay, well I'm glad. All right, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah, the folks on the chat say they can all hear you.
Okay. Just to let everybody know on the chat is that I'm trying to type in right now and I'm hitting return and sending you guys information on the chat and it's not going through at all. So my chat is not working. Okay. So just letting you know, Mackenzie, just keep me informed if we happen to lose it. Okay. All right.
Will do.
All right, Ken. Go ahead and continue, man.
Again, I got there 10:30 or so, and did my unpacking as usual. And I had a very strange sense of being looked at or being watched, and I was just very paranoid. And I kept going into my tent to set my cot up in my sleeping area, etc. I couldn't stay in there because I kept thinking someone was outside of my tent or in the area looking at me. And at this place where we were, it's at the end of the road at Courtright. There is no more roads. There's no lights. There's no nothing. Very, very remote. Very, very few people. And there was nobody around. But to me, there was someone there, and I just couldn't see them, but they were there. And I began to hear these very strange, like clicking sounds. And I kept thinking to myself, what kind of animal could make those sounds? I had no answer. I've been in this camping stuff since I was a kid, and I had never heard that sound before. And it was very unique, and I couldn't find the source of those sounds. So I sat there in my tent, or in a chair outside of my tent, for several hours, fearful, somewhat scared, nervous, looking around in a nervous way, waiting for someone to pop up or show up. And then eventually, thank goodness, Adolf and Kenneth came. I had always thought it was a couple hours afterwards, but Adolf said no, it was at least 5 hours later, and I had missed a lot of time that was unknown to me until just recently.
Okay, so what time did you get there then? You're saying at the campsite?
Adolf or me?
No, you, Kenneth. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I was there about 10.
About
10:30
10.
in the morning.
Okay. So there was some time missing then when you were there.
Yeah, because Adolf could get to I think to at least 2:30 or so in the afternoon.
Yeah.
No, actually, I got there about 5 o'clock. So I left that house at 2:30. I got off work at 12.
Yeah, I keep thinking he was there.
Yeah.
Like within a matter of hours. I was there way.
Yeah, he was way ahead of us.
Wow. So something happened.
amazes me.
So something happened to you while you were waiting for Adolf then, huh, Ken?
Yes, I kept saying, man, so about the time I got here, and in my mind, it was 3 or 4 hours, and like I said, just recently he told me, no, we didn't get there until, like we said, 5 o'clock. I go, oh, my God.
Wow.
In that case, I was probably lost 3 or 4 hours.
Holy shit. Okay. So Adolf and Kenneth shows up, and now, from what I understand, Kenneth and you had tents, and Adolf was in his camper shell. That's where he spent the night, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
I was at my Forerunner.
In his Forerunner.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys get all there, and I'm assuming it's a camping trip. You guys pop open some beers. You guys start the fire. So what happened after Adolf got there? What did you guys do?
Actually, Ken was really glad to see us.
Was he?
Like, what the heck? What took you guys so long, And, but I wasn't going as fast going up there because I was so paranoid. I was always looking on the side of the road, timing myself, how long it took me to go to Shaver Lake, Dinky Creek. Everything's timed. Ken does the same thing. We time ourselves because we don't know if we're missing time
Wow.
that we're not aware of. So we kind of like time each other or ourselves as we're going up the mountains. But yeah, it was strange. But yeah, Kim was real happy to see us and ask us, what took us so long. And we started setting up tent before it started getting dark.
Uh-huh.
And pop up some beers, of course. But
Sure.
that's after we did everything.
Uh-huh.
And Ken telling us about something was looking at us and strange sounds he was hearing, He felt more comfortable when he was out on the road so he could see us coming down the road.
Right.
So he could feel better. But I'm glad he got the spot.
Yeah.
It worked out perfect.
Now, Ken, have you guys been to this spot before?
Actually, we had been to this Courtright Lake for many, many years. In 10-11-01, we went camping, and the spot we got in 02 was already taken. And so we had to go to another spot before that. Wasn't near as nice. There was no trees, and it was completely freezing and exposed to the elements. That's why I got this here very, very early to reserve the spot for us.
Gotcha.
We've been in this little area, I think, in 2001, I think 2000, and then after that, I think in 2004 or 2005.
Yeah, 2005.
Cool. Okay, so it's getting dark, and anything happened before you guys went to bed? About what time did you guys go to bed? Who wants to take this?
Go ahead, Ken.
It's funny because when I mentioned about the time, for years, he and I have always this weird need to time ourselves. Where we go, how many miles and how far it was. And not till recently did we realize we both do that all the time, and that it might be in some kind of unknown reaction or some unknown response to account for missing time. Because I've always done it, and so has Adolf, but we never really understood why. It just been kind of a habit. As we talk later on, we realized it probably has something to do with our time having been missed so often in our lives that that's why we always tend to track it now.
Right.
When we got there, we had the fire going. He drank the beer and talked and laughed. We've been doing it for many, many, many years. And as usual, you turn into bed earlier, and it was in October, so it just started pretty fast. I was probably in bed, I want to say, in my tent, not too much past maybe 8:30 or so, I'm thinking.
Now, why is that? Just because you were tired, or?
No, it was really weird. Again, I know more now than I did then. It's just I had this desire and this drive to sleep. I couldn't wait to go to bed. I've had it before since then, and now I kind of recognize it as one of their a telltale sign of pending encounters. But I couldn't wait to go to sleep. I couldn't wait to get on my tent. I just had this need to do that, and that was probably enough sleep. Again, probably 8:30, maybe earlier. I'm not quite sure.
Okay. And did Adolf and Kenneth, you guys soon after that, or did you guys stick around and just kick it and then?
We stayed up probably for about close to an hour, I guess.
An hour?
Yeah, about an hour.
Yeah. And me and Kenneth went out to the road, check out the scenery from looking eastward. There's this glacier that I always look at every time we go up there. It's getting smaller and smaller every year. And I was telling Kenneth about that. And it started getting too cold, so we went back to the campfire. Kenneth was in charge of the campfire, so he's always throwing wood in there. So he likes fire. So, we just stayed up for about an hour, and he said he was going to stay up a little longer. I crashed out, and till later on during the night.
Mm-hmm. So go ahead. So who wants to start? About what time do you think this all happened?
Yeah, I think the first thing was that I recognized that we're all in the bed. Eventually, we're in there, and the fire is flickering. We have pictures and drawings, etc., of the actual site itself. And I'm in bed, and I'm laying there, and I'm feeling extremely paranoid and very uncomfortable. And I can't relax. I just can't sleep, and I keep sitting up in my cot, looking around, listening for sounds. It's a very uneasy, unsettling feeling that somebody or something is just not right.
Hey, Mackenzie, are we still on?
You know what? It actually appears that no, I have a black screen and I have no sound.
Wow. Okay. Let's is there a way you can pause that? I think you can pause that over there. No video or sound. Okay. Yep, they cut us off. Isn't that weird? Right when we were about to start. Okay, guys, they cut us out. Okay. God, I love it. Go ahead, Mackenzie, and turn down the volume for me, please. And
Sure.
you guys, they cut us off, and we're back on again. And you guys, if you guys watched my show before, this has happened when we are talking about alien abductions, and they would cut off. Matter of fact, I've had Ken on before, and they actually, as soon as he started talking about this night, boom, they cut us off. So Ken obviously knows what's going on. So, okay.
Yeah, I'm used to it, I guess.
Yeah, you're used to it. So we're back on. Go ahead, Ken. I guess Ken was in the middle of talking, right? Go for it.
Yeah, I'm not sure where we left off, but again, as I try to sleep, and I become very, very anxious, extremely nervous, and very paranoid, and just really uncomfortable. I kept hearing sounds, and I thought that somebody was out there in the camp walking around. I have to picture this. This is, October. It's freezing. There's nobody around for miles and miles but us. There's no light. It's pitch black. It's windy and extremely, extremely scary. We're three guys by ourselves. I'm thinking, oh my God, there's axe murder out there. This is just not good, and we can't get away. We can't escape. We are just stuck. So, with that feeling that would build and build and build, the first clear sign to me that something was actually there were the lights. And there were two sets of lights that I saw in my tent. Before that, I remember I was in my cot and I heard this swishing sound, and it was though somebody was walking by my tent dragging something or carrying something. And I yelled out, I go, Kenneth, is that you? What are you doing out there? It's freezing. You need to get back in your tent because it's just cold out there. What are you crazy? I thought it was him outside of my tent. And remember, it's windy, it's black, it's freezing, and no one's making a sound the whole time, and it's just frightful. He yells out, it's not me, I'm in my tent. And I'm thinking like, oh, okay. So I kind of lay back down, and then as it progressed, the next half an hour or so, you get your footsteps walking around your tent. I have a tarp under my tent, so does Kenneth, and I'm sitting there, and I'm hearing someone walk around my tent. They're only 3 feet from my face. I know they're there. I could hear them, but I can't see them, but I could hear them and sense them, and I'm sitting up in my tent, in my cot, frozen with fear. I have an axe in my hand at one point, and my weapon, I have a flashlight in my hand. I can't turn it on. I'm too scared to speak. I can't yell out. I just sit there frozen in fear. And I'm following them and walk around my tent, and I'm walking. I'm trying to calm down. I'm trying to relax. And all of a sudden, at some point, I kind of like, if I dozed off or did something, but I spring up out of my cot, and I'm yelling at these guys, the force is on fire, the force is on fire. Oh, my God, we lit the force on fire. We got to get up. We got to put the fire out. We got the forest on fire. We got to do something, because behind my tent was this light that illuminated the whole back of the mountain where we were camping, and I thought it was a forest fire. I thought the fire had jumped. The spark that came from the fire lit up the forest, and it was ablaze. I'm in my tent, sitting up, looking at this light, this glowing, moving light, like some kind of fire. So I thought. And I'm yelling and screaming, but both they Kenneth and Adolf, and then Kenneth goes, what happened? What? I go, nothing. And then I was told to lie down and be quiet, and so I did. Wow. And then that was probably, I'm thinking 10:30, maybe something like that, 11 o'clock at night. I'm not really sure, but probably like 10:30 or so. That's my guess. Okay, that was the first time for me. That was definitely out there.
Go ahead.
Okay. Also, that first night, I got the beard goes right through you. So I got out of my out of my Forerunner. I walked out probably about 50, 60 feet. And I'm walking through tiny brushes, little tiny branches, needles, duff, whatever it may be. And so I had to go do what I'm doing. And then I look, and there's a semi-glowing light behind Ken's tent. And I'm looking at it, and I glanced down because my feet start hurting. Mm-hmm. And so I did what I did, and I glanced back up to see where that semi-glowing light was. It was gone. So I start walking back to the Forerunner, and it was cold, but it was cold. But what I'm getting to is that on the way back to the vehicle, every little branch I was feeling underneath my feet. How come when I left the vehicle to that point and seeing the light, how come my feet wasn't hurting till I was standing there? I did not feel any pain whatsoever till I started walking back to the vehicle. So I don't know what happened during that time.
Oh,
so
I follow you.
So if they pulled me or, forced me to get out and do what I did, but why didn't I feel any pain on my feet as I walked over there? Instead, I felt everything going back to the vehicle.
Wow.
And then after that, then I understand what Ken was talking about, switching sound, because that's when I was back in the vehicle. And that's when it happened, and he's right, about 10 o'clock or so. And I heard the same swishing sounds everywhere. And those different layers of it, not just one. It's like a whole group of them. Just coming out everywhere. You could kind of follow the sounds, and then all of a sudden you got a louder sound on this way, so you turn your head. But yet you couldn't see nothing, not at that time.
So do you think these were them communicating with each other, talking maybe?
Yeah, more likely. They're trying to scare the
You
shit
know
out
what's
of us.
funny? No, what it was, it sounded to me and to us like they were wearing like nylon, like sweatpants. It was so cold. Maybe we thought some kind of clothing that they had, but it was everywhere. Like it was in the sky, before you, around you. It was just swishing, swirling sound all over. They could have been talking or just moving.
Yeah,
but it was really weird. Hard to explain or hard to follow.
Yeah, it was,
everywhere.
It was like two arms rubbing with nylon, clothing that you got on. But you could follow them. You could follow the sound. But yet, was it something that they were wearing, or was it their vocal?
Right.
We don't know.
Right. Okay, so again, you are in the camper shell of your Forerunner, and at that point in time, you went back, right? And you're now inside your shell.
Yeah.
So what happened after that?
After all that switching sounds?
Yeah.
I crashed out.
You crashed out? And then nothing happened to you until the next morning?
Yeah.
Ken, how about you?
No, for me, this is funny because this is the first time it ever quote, gotten me.
Right.
And throughout the night, I didn't sleep a wink. After the first light, I sat up and I would listen and I would hear them going through like our camping gear, like looking at our stuff. And it upset the next day. They thought they were curious. But that makes sense because they were walking. You could hear them on the tarp next to my tent, 2 feet away from my head, walking around and then just swishing around or flying or whatever they're doing and going through our gear. You hear the clinging and clanging of our pots and things on our table that I had left out. Yeah. And later on, as I'm laying there, I'm listening, and I'm just paranoid, and I'm just, thinking, oh my God, I want to get stabbed or some kind of accident or thing. At that point, I didn't really still know what it was. All of a sudden, the second big event for me was I saw these lights, and I have some pictures of them. I've seen them again since then, and they were swirling white, blue, white lights, the same colors you would see water in a glacier, that white, blue color, very pure color. They were in my tent corner, and they were swirling. And I'm thinking, like, who in the heck got some weird flashlight, and they're out here in the middle of nowhere, and they're shining on my tent in weird shapes and little circular motions. I'm staring at it, and I'm looking, and I sit up again, but again, I'm told to lay back down. So I lay back down. A little while longer, I remember I sat up again, and this whole night, I'm like in some kind of trance, trauma, semi-conscious, sleep, not sleep, routine, and I hear this mechanical sound, and I thought that's someone, and I stopped up and said, oh my God, someone's in my trunk trying to steal my CD player. I heard this mechanical sound, like a CD being ejected out of a car CD player. I'm thinking, like, what? Who now? Who's going to get this on my CD? And who's out here? And what's funny is the whole night you lose your ability to reason and to ration and to make logic of these things. So you play mind games. You commit yourself, you talk about yourself, you try to explain it, understand it, to mimic it, to figure out what its source is. But then your mind is completely scrambled, so you have no sense of A, B, C, D. You have no linear sense of time or anything. It's just a big mess after a while. Once that happened, I heard that sound. This went on for me about 5 hours throughout the night. A lot of things were still missing because you would go in and out of consciousness or awareness, whatever the state was. I remember the next thing I remember was it was about 5 a.m. probably, and they had left. And what's weird about them leaving is not much that you don't see them or hear them, you feel them no longer there. You don't have that feeling, that internal fear or dread, whatever that they give you, that you know that they're there, that just leaves you and it becomes peaceful and you can breathe again and you're not paranoid again and you're normal again. You're back to who you normally are. You can focus again. You're aware again. Once they left, I remember having some peace. Like, oh, thank God, that's over with. And I still had my doubt. The next thing I know, the sun is finally coming out, and I unzip my tent. I get up, and then Kenneth gets up. We hear me getting up. I'm very thirsty the next morning. I remember that. And then Adolf gets up, and then we all look at each other, and we're just like, what in the hell was that? And we just had this look like dismay, shock, disbelief. We couldn't find the words to explain what it was. And we just met to thank God for the sun. Good daylight. Whew, that was just terrible. It was a nightmare.
So
now this is Saturday morning now.
So Saturday morning, all three of you guys get up, and you guys are looking at each other, going, and you guys are waiting for someone to speak. I'm assuming, like, all right, who wants to be the first one to say, all right, am I nuts or not?
Yeah.
I mean, so Adolf, when you got up, was Kenneth the first one to say, what the F happened last night?
Well, I seen Ken get up. He was gonna make some coffee, and I walked over, went to the ice chest, grabbed myself a Pepsi because that's my soda, that's my coffee. And then we started talking about, what was that sound last night? It was weird. We couldn't figure out. But you know what's even weird is that once we all discussed about that, we decided to go fishing like nothing ever happened. We didn't talk about it during the whole day. We had a great time fishing. It was like out of our minds. But yet it was still there. But yet we wasn't sort of like allowed to talk about it. It's like maybe a calming effect. Mm-hmm. Like we shouldn't talk about it. It's not right. Wow. So
they made you guys just try to erase it from. I see what you guys are saying.
No, not so much erase it, but don't think about it.
Okay. Because.
Well, it's funny too because even Kenneth said we were talking about it when we first talked about it for the first morning. Yeah, after a while we just went on, made something with fishing and forgot about it. We initially were talking about it. Even Kenneth and I, when we were talking, he said that he thought it was me and Adolf walking around in his tent trying to scare him. And so he said, yeah, I thought it was you guys walking around my tent and making noise trying to scare the hell out of me. Then he goes, wait a minute, that's not Ken, that's not Adolf. So he remembers he had a little knife and a sheath going, okay, if someone's going to come in, I'm going to get him. Because, again, you clearly knew someone was out there. And then after he told very clearly, because after I realized, whoever it is, they're here, they're going to get me, I cannot stop it. And he tried as hard as he could to not be fearful. And that was just what he kind of did.
Right.
We all kind of did. And then the next day, like Adolf said, we got up and we did our things, and it was a great day. We went hiking and, fishing as usual.
Yeah.
It was a normal day at the beach.
Yeah, also, after we came back fishing, we ate, and Ken makes breakfast all the time. And we went for a walk. And out by Courtright, there's a dome that you could walk to. You had no longer drive in that area, but you could walk in that area. So we were walking toward the creek, which is way down there. And there's this ledge that we found. There was branches in there with needles, and it was like a 5x8 area. and on top of that was a dead doe. But what was strange about the dead doe, it did not smell, and the neck was twisted around. The head was facing back toward the tail. And that caught us odd because there was no blood, no gunshot wounds, or anything like that. Me and Kenneth were looking at it quite a bit, and that was kind of strange because there was branches underneath and needles. Like if it was a bed of some type of something. It just caught us kind of weird.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So like a bed with a doe on it.
Yeah.
Like an offering, or not even an offering, but that's something, Sasquatch maybe? Okay, my dogs are, can you guys hear my dogs outside? They are like, wifey in the other room. Can you tell those dogs to please be quiet? Because those dogs should not be barking like that. Not unless there's somebody in the backyard trying to sabotage us, but okay.
That is
weird.
Kind of weird.
So
that's the reason
I can definitely see then that, yeah, I mean, if it was an animal, there would have been blood everywhere for an instant kill. A cougar, a bobcat, a bear, I don't care what it is. If it's going to get it, that matter of fact, that shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Exactly.
It shouldn't have been there. It should have been gone. So something obviously killed it, placed it on a bed of the trees or the limbs, and obviously whatever killed it broke its neck.
Yeah, because this was in a dome area, so there was no trees in that area for about 100 yards.
Whoa.
So all the branches were facing one direction. So it wasn't as if anything was blown in there. Everything was clean all the way around it for a good distance. So it was definitely placed in there.
Wow. That is very, very weird and cool, but weird. So, okay. All right, dogs, you can shut up now. Oh, God. And you know what? They do bark, and they let us know when there's somebody walking in the back of the train tracks area. And they've been barking for about 3 hours now like that nonstop. It's Sunday night. You guys know who watch this show. Sunday nights, we have a lot of UFO activity over Fresno. And I wouldn't be surprised if not, I'm not saying UFO, but Cheryl, yell at them out there, please, and tell them to be quiet. So, okay, well, Saturday, you guys are fishing. Everything's cool. You guys come back to the campsite. Now, I just had a comment on the chat for Adolf.
Yeah.
Do you have any Native American blood in you?
Yeah. I don't want to say what kind.
Okay, that's
I
fine.
got some.
You got some.
Yeah.
Ken, do you as well?
No, I don't.
You don't. Okay.
If I do, it's a very, very small amount, perhaps.
Okay.
But not that I'm aware of.
Just that there's no paperwork on me. It's all hearsay with the family. So I really can't say how much or what.
Well,
but
and a visual. If I were looking at you, you do look Native American.
Yeah,
you do. So okay, because we had a question, and that I think is a very good point, because Native Americans seem to, I think there's a connection in there someplace as well, and that's definitely a good point. Thanks, Beetlejuice. I think you made that comment. So, all right. Okay, it's Saturday night. You guys, about what time do you guys go to bed?
On this Saturday, what was funny, because, I had not slept the night before. People ask us, why didn't you leave? And I've talked about this for years. You just are compelled to stay, or you're told not to leave. One of the two, or a little bit of both, perhaps. But we just didn't occur to us to get in the car to leave. But Saturday night came, business as usual for us. Fire, dinner, beer on the campfire, talking about things that we've done in the past, and the usual chat
Let me know.
amongst friends, and nothing unusual. Once again, I'm getting ready to go to bed, and I get this knot in my stomach, and I went to bed earlier than the night before, so I'm in bed. I'm thinking, man, by 7, long day, no sleep. I'm in bed early. I'm in bed extremely early this time, and once again, I have this nervous, anxious, exciting fear to go to sleep, whatever that means. So I'm in my cot, probably 7:30 or so, looking forward to it. And at first, everything is okay, and then it just went terribly wrong after that. And then Adolf stayed out for, an hour or two after that? Adolf, you and Kenneth, after I crashed out?
Yeah.
A while, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's probably about an hour and a half. while Ken went to bed, or went to his tent, me and Kenneth, we went out in the road, and we're looking at that glacier once again. You know, there was just a dim light on there by that time, just sort of like a glowing. And so I had my big flashlight with me, and all of a sudden, me and Kenneth noticed light in the distance. It was out there, probably about a good 50 miles, 40 miles or so. And we noticed it started getting closer toward us. So as it started getting closer, it started going up and down on the mountain ridges. And I kept looking at it. It's like, that don't look like no helicopter. So I got my flashlight, started pointing at that light and turning it to Ken's tent as a joke. I mean, I didn't think nothing of it. But, I joke around here and there.
Right.
So I was pointing the light at it and going toward Ken's tent, and then it started getting closer. And then I stopped pointing at it because it shot a beam of light down. And me and Kenneth, we just looked at it like, oh, shit. We're going back to the fire. But as we're walking back, that light went around the dome just to the left, north of us. And you can see no definite design on it, just that it was a bright light. But there was no sound whatsoever. So the closest it got to us is probably a quarter mile.
Now, when you said it shined a beam of light, was it at you guys or just directly below it?
No, it was coming toward us, but that's when we moved away.
But the light, it hit, like the light actually hit where you guys were standing?
No, it was about 100 yards.
100 yards away?
But you could see as the vehicle was coming closer, that's the reason we moved backwards.
I see.
And then that's when he made a left, or its right-hand turn going north. They went toward the dome. So we stayed at the campsite, but we really didn't talk about it. That's what's weird. You'll get all excited and something, all of a sudden you're calm again. It's like they have total control of turning on the switch off and on. Just to control you. Like, okay, we need you here a little longer. We can't scare you too much. We don't want you to leave. We'll just play with you right now.
Right.
Seems like.
Wow. So you and Kenneth went back to the campsite.
Yeah.
Kenneth is already asleep. He's in his tent. We don't know if he's asleep yet, but he's in his tent. You guys get back to the campsite. You guys go your different ways. You went to your road. What did you guys do?
No, ended up, Kenneth, he's, he always likes playing with flyers. So the second time, since he heard all that swishing sounds the night before, he made sure he had a big fire. He's going to stay up longer than we do. And he said he's going to stay up as long as possible to keep that fire going. So, I told him I was going to crash out. And, I went to bed. Let's see here real quick.
Yeah. Kenneth had mentioned, I think, after we talked, he goes, after that second night, he goes, man, screw that. I'm not going to go to my tent and sleep again. I want to stay as long as I can and keep this fire blazing because he didn't want to repeat a Friday.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Adolf crashed out. I crashed out again before that, and he kept that fire. And he had a blanket, on a log next to the fire. And, I could see him sitting out there and for quite some time. And then I remember him saying at some point, that's how you do it. You suckers hide, or you hide in the shadows, or something like that. I'm like, who the heck is he talking to? But I heard him say something to that effect. I think for the Adolf, we talked about it later on, that he had submitted a little comment. And so I'm thinking, okay, he's seen him out there walking around or whatever, because I'm surely by that time, I had that feeling of dread again. I had that paranoia. It kind of winds up, as you keep cranking it up and up and up, it just grows until it consumes you. And eventually, I guess he went into his tent after a couple of hours at the beginning. After I think he finally, called it a night.
Yeah.
That second night, I didn't see hardly any lights, but I knew they were coming. I go, oh my God, you've got to be freaking kidding me! Not again. There's no way I can go this again. I cannot believe it. Here they are again. Same thing, same feeling. They're out there. They're walking. What was weird is this time they actually abducted me. My first abduction experience. So I remember I was in my tent and I'm laying and I'm sitting up, and I remember I felt these two beams of swirling energy, if you will, being shot at me from outside of my tent. And I remember getting hit, like boom, boom, with two swirling coils of energy, if you will. And I'm getting hit, and I instantly feel like I'm disintegrating, like it is in the old Star Trek days, and when they're going through that transporter thing. And I remember holding on to my cot, thinking, "Oh man, I'm holding on for dear life because I'm being pulled." So I thought I was being, I guess, pulled or sucked up or something. And then once I got hit, I remember going like, "Oh," and just feeling the shock. And I'm holding onto my cot, and they're trying to pull me out, and it's, again, pitch black, windy, tent flapping, can't be more scary than this. And I'm holding on for dear life. But the next thing I know, I'm just gone. And then I remember clearly I'm lying in a room, and I remember I perceiving it to be, or recalling it to be, a metal table, and I'm lying there in fetal position, completely without clothes, and I'm crying, and I'm saying, "I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. You need to let me go. I don't want to be here." And I don't cry for nothing. And nothing really scares me. I've been playing for so many years. But I remember crying, and they comforted me and say, "It's okay, it's okay." And it somehow comforted me, and then I stopped. I also remember through the course of that night, we'll say from 10:30 on, that I was telling them that you're hurting my arm. Just stop doing that. And going, it hurts. You stop. It's cramping or whatever it was. And they moved or changed to get me to relieve that pain. So I kind of think that they don't want to hurt us, or I guess something bad to us, because they certainly listen to my cries for help, if you will.
Right.
And after that, I remember the next time, and I'm used to this now, how the abductions work. There's a split second between the time that you're out and the time you're in, between the time that they set you back and the time that they leave. A very small window, and that's usually what you remember, the beginning and the end, and you miss the middle, or most of the middle. And I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I spring out of my tent, I catch my breath, and I go, "Oh my God, those mother effers, they just dropped me off." And one is right there. And I'm looking at my tent and my cot, and 3 feet from my face, pitch black, you could pull the tent, and it's swishing a little bit, and the wind is it, and I'm staring at an alien face to face, but I can't see him. But I know they just dropped me off of my tent after the entire night. I'm back now. He's looking at me to make sure I'm, I guess, coming out of it, and I can't move. But he's right there, and we're face to face.
Okay.
And I can't do anything.
Okay, hold off. Everybody, what we're doing right now is, before you go, Adolf, we're going to stop our disc. We're recording the show right now to put it on YouTube because, I don't want this to happen again. So Alan is switching the disc. It's going to take about a minute to put it in, and we're going. Okay, we're up and running again. So they just dropped off Ken, and now Adolf wants to say something. Go for it.
Yeah, also, right before they picked up Ken, I got up because there was a light behind their tent, behind both of them. And I was looking at it, like Ken was saying, and I seen a lot of movement behind it. So I thought it was branches, moving with the light behind it, whatever light source that was. Mm-hmm. And I kept looking at it like, what the hell is that? And as it was moving around, I started noticing the shadows started getting smaller. So finally, when we got really close to the tent, I noticed it was bodies. It was small little alien type things, but I was seeing it through his tent with the light behind it.
Got it.
Okay, and then I was looking at it like, what? And then all of a sudden, I crashed out. So they kind of like take turns. Okay, right now we're going to take Ken. We're going to knock you out.
Right.
And then, that's when they took Ken.
Gotcha. So, so they knocked you out, and when you came back, did you wake up that morning, or were the still
no? During that night, I woke up, and there was a beam of light going from the passenger side back door all the way across to the driver's side back door. And I kind of like looked at it, so I scooted downwards with my back because I didn't want to touch that beam with my head. So I sat up, I looked at it like, what the heck? Blank, what's that? So I put my hand like if I was shaking somebody's hand. I put it through it. That beam went right through my hand, did not disturb it whatsoever, did not burn my hand. I never got blisters out of it or whatsoever, but it was like I wasn't there whatsoever. And
now you're in your, now people remember he's not sleeping in a tent. He's sleeping in the camper chair of his Forerunner. So you're in the back of the bed of the truck, and your feet are towards the back end of the truck,
toward
correct?
their tents.
Okay, gotcha. So your head is near the front of the truck.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So after the beam, what'd you do?
I played around with it, whatsoever. But what was weird is that I wasn't concerned where that beam was coming from for some reason. I wasn't allowed to think about that. What was that source? My thing was playing with the beam of light. I mean, why would I do that? But it was like somebody telling you, you only can know so much out of a book. We'll let you stay on this page right here, and we'll let you play around with that for a while. But next thing I know, I was crashed out on that, and I don't even remember crashing out. And then next thing I know, I woke up again. I heard something by my door. It was like high clicking, weird mechanical sound. So I laid, that beam of light was gone. I laid to my side, and I reached over to make sure my doors were locked. They were. And I could hear somebody on the passenger side back door, just right on the other side. All of a sudden, I see the door opening, and that door was locked. It did not click open or anything like that. And I'm seeing the door open up. Next thing, I was out. I don't know what happened. So maybe they took me as they took Ken. That during that time, I do not remember that point. But I do remember waking up later on during the night, once again, with, like Ken was saying, when Kenneth went out there, said, that's what you do, you hide in the shadows.
Right.
But when I was saying that, I seen Kenneth, he picked up a log he was going to throw in the fire. And he looked to straight going north, and he had a puzzled look, and I heard him say, that's what you do, you hide in the shadows. And I'm looking like, why in the blank would anybody say that? So I'm looking around the vehicle out the window so I could see what he's seeing. So I'm following him as he's going. Next thing I know, I was out. Next morning, I asked Kenneth, where did you go last night? When you said that, he didn't think I heard him.
Right.
And he goes, I seen something hide behind the tree. So I went to go investigate. I go, what was it? He goes, I don't know. I just woke up.
Wow. So you basically woke up now, but still we haven't talked about the motion of the truck going down in the front. Yeah, so we're still at that night. We're still in the morning sometime. Yeah. What happened? I'm assuming you woke up again.
Yeah, I did. You might want to go to Ken because I think I woke up after he did. I think he was already back in his tent.
Okay. So
let Ken finish off where he left off.
All right, Ken?
Yeah, so now we're Sunday morning. I'm getting back, like I said, when we're outside of my tent. And what's funny is Adolf and I have still discovered things after all these years that we didn't even realize. So 10 years later, we're still going like, I didn't know that, or yeah, that makes sense, or we call him bits and pieces because they kind of lock them away so well, and then they kind of little bits and pieces from time to time come out through discussion into kind of reliving it again. That about 5 a.m., I'm saying 5 a.m., they drop me off, and I'm there, and they're right there as well, and they leave you there, and then they go, and then I just remember laying there and waiting for the sun to come up, and then finally the sun popped up, and as soon as the sun popped up, I popped up too, and we all got up, and what's funny was the first Saturday night, we were kind of like, man, what in the heck? We were a little bit like overwhelmed, bewildered, but a little sense of humor, I guess, or livelihood or life. Wasn't that bad, I guess. But Sunday, though, man, it was bad. I felt terrible. I was not happy. I was just not right, and I just had to get out of there. I just said, Adolf, once we all kind of popped up, I don't know if we had coffee. I'm thinking we may have just had some in a jar or some, pre-made coffee or something. But I just said, that's it, man. I'm out of here. I'm not doing this anymore.
Okay, now.
And so.
Okay, now before you take off, though, I want to still go back to Adolf because I want him to describe the front end of the truck going down at that point. Now, go ahead. I mean, it's still late at night.
Yeah.
Or still early in the morning,
Probably
dark
early
outside.
morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, during the night, I'll sleep on my back. So when you're laying on the floor, you can feel people walking by and
Sure.
all that, the vibrations itself. So anyway, I was laying in the back of the 4Runner, and remember being kind of pissed off because when you lay across the 4Runner, you have to go corner to corner. You can't quite stretch your leg far enough.
Right.
It bugs you. So anyway, I was laying like that because I wasn't very comfortable, and all of a sudden my vehicle moved side to side 3 to 4 times. I go, whoa, we're having an earthquake. So I sat up, I looked at the tents, see if those guys woke up or turn on a flashlight or anything maybe. And I was confused, like, why didn't they get up? They didn't feel that? Why didn't I felt it? And so I looked side to side, looked in the back. I never did look in front toward the windshield until the next morning. So I ended up falling back asleep, and it was weird because when I'm talking about going back to sleep, and that's probably with every one of us, it's not trying to go to sleep. Once you put your head down, you're out. There's no moving around, trying to get comfortable or anything like that. You're out. Turn the page. Next.
Okay. Wow. Okay, so it's time. Morning comes around, sun comes up. All three of you guys get up. Ken says, I am getting the effing out of here. From what I understand, Ken, you're a neat freak. But that morning, you didn't bother putting everything in its place in your truck, huh?
Oh, yeah. I'm incredibly over neat and definitely anal about such things. Office, camping, you name it, same thing.
Yeah, I remember at your house, when I went to your house, dude, I looked around, I didn't see one freaking speck of dust any place.
Yeah, that's my curse.
So you just started throwing everything in your truck.
Oh yeah, I just literally grabbed my tent, put everything in a ball, threw it in my tent. I wouldn't blow out the door, and I just started my truck up and I bailed. I just had to get out of there and away from that environment quickly, and I was not right. I was just not right for all the way down. So eventually, I began to whatever it was began to wear off. I became normal again, and then the euphoria kind of was replaced with, I guess, by them. What was weird as I was going, I felt miserable and terrible and just sick about the whole thing. But then I think to kind of mask the experience so we don't get freaked out completely, they put some kind of euphoria pill in your brain, and then you begin to get happy and you begin to feel good, like some kind of a brain drug. Because as I went further and further down, and by the time I got home, I was feeling great. It's just kind of really strange. I think that's kind of, over time, I've learned how they kind of deal with that psychologically. I think is they know that we're very frail in terms of that.
Right.
Weak in terms of that as well. So yeah, I'm in the car and I'm racing down to get home as I can. It's probably 7:38, very early in the morning.
So Ken, can I ask you, what do you do for a job during the day, full time?
Yeah, I'm a tax administrator, and I manage 10 offices around the state of California.
Okay.
Through the state of California, tax branch.
Okay. And Adolf, your school district still or not?
Yeah, Fresno Unified.
Fresno Unified. Okay. All right. Now, Ken is already home. You're still at the campsite with Kenneth, correct?
Yeah. Once I got up, I seen Ken get out of his tent. I opened up the side door on the driver's side behind, and I looked at Ken and I go, "What the blank happened last night?" And Ken goes, "I'm blank out of here. I'm gone." So that's when he started loading up the vehicle. So I ended up getting up, and he just placed everything, kind of like threw it in there a little bit, put a tarp over it. It was gone. So Kenneth gets up. As Ken's driving out, he goes, "Where's Ken going?" I go, "He's gone." I go, "Ken, do you feel the earthquake last night or anything like that?" He goes, "No, I didn't feel nothing at all." I go, "Are you sure?" I go, "He moved the whole vehicle when I was in there." And he goes, "No." He goes, "I didn't feel nothing." And but he wasn't right either. I mean, he was shaken up. He hasn't hardly been sleeping whatsoever. with all this stuff going on, and he's half asleep in the morning. And so I told him, you know what, this jam. I go, I'm not staying one more night. And so we loaded up the vehicle, and we're almost done. Kenneth has to put the rest of his stuff in there. So I went to the front of the vehicle. I was going to open it up, check all the fluids on there before we start heading down. That's like a habit I have. And as I was going to open up the hood, I noticed there was a handprint.
Stop right there. Okay, we're going to show the trailer. There we go. We're going to zero in on the TV right behind us, and world debut of the trailer of the... No, you're okay. You should be all right. I think you just... Looks good right there. Oh, that's not the right one. Okay, hold on. It's that one. Hold on.
Really.
Hold on. I'm gonna go back. Hold on here. All right.
He had a lot going on. And I think that he probably shared some of it, but I don't think he shared everything. The one thing I know for sure is seeing that my brother was really affected by this.
Okay, it's moving really slow, so hold on, guys.
The first time I saw.
What? Oh. See, hold on, guys. For some reason, the video is moving really slow. Only because we have a lot of people on right now. Stand by, guys. See, the video's not loading up. Hold on, guys. Doing is I'm showing this off the internet. So, okay, there it goes. It's loading up now. Want to make sure we get it good.
The lights. We were laying down in bed, and as soon as I said something,
hold on, Mackenzie. I'll get it right now.
Telling me more about.
He had a lot going on.
There you go.
And I think that he probably shared some of it, but I don't think he shared everything. The one thing I know for sure is seeing that my brother was really affected by this.
The first time I saw the lights, we were laying down in bed, and as soon as I said something, that's when Ken started telling me more about what he would see.
Within a matter of weeks after coming back, I saw the same lights I saw in the tent here in the house.
I was going to check the fluids on the vehicle, the oil, water, and everything before I left. But when I went to the front of the hood, I noticed there was a handprint.
Sorry, guys, but the video's loading really slow.
Believing that something is real when you're in the middle of a dream, it's real to you. And this
this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let it load.
He had a lot going on, and I think that he probably shared some of it, but I don't think he shared everything. The one thing I know for sure is seeing that my brother.
I'm gonna let the video catch up, Mackenzie, so that way, without any starter stopping.
Okay.
What Adolf found as he was checking his, he went to go open his hood of his truck to go check the fluid before he went back down the hill. He noticed a handprint on the hood of the truck. And what you're going to see here at the end of the video is the actual handprint. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to freeze it and I'm going to pause it so you guys can see it. And and then I'm gonna let, and then we're gonna continue on, and I'm gonna have Adolf go ahead and have him describe what he found and how he made the call, and continue on after that. So hold on here. The video's catching up right now. I'm letting the video load up. Okay, there we go.
Mother was really, really affected by this.
The first time I saw the lights, we were laying down in bed, and as soon as I said something like that's when Ken started telling me more about what he would see.
Within a matter of weeks after coming back, I had saw the same lights I saw in the tent here in the house.
I was going to check the fluids on the vehicle, the oil, water, and everything before I left. But when I went to the front of the hood, I noticed there was a handprint.
Our minds can trick us into believing that something is real. When you're in the middle of a dream, it's real to you. In this particular case, the fact that there were 3 of them, and 2 of them who I know very well, sort of says to me that that's not what it was.
I realized I had just woken up again, and I'm staring at my tent wall where the door is, and I'm going, oh, bastards, they just dropped me back off. I know they did, and he's right there,
I started looking at the shadows through the tent, and I could see each one of them sitting in there. And then I could see the shadows behind them. First it was big, and as they were getting closer, the shadows started getting smaller because they were getting closer to the tent. Then I realized it was something.
So you saw human-type figures walking towards
The tents, yeah.
Okay, what I want to do is I'm going to pause it right there. Okay, there's a handprint that was left on the hood of the truck, and we're gonna just leave it right there so you guys can see it. We're gonna continue talking as that handprint is left up there. So this was on the hood of your truck. Now, if you guys can see, very odd looking. Adolf, you lifted the hood. Now, before you lifted the hood, is that when you spotted this?
Yeah, right when I was lifting it up, I only picked it up a few inches.
Okay, go ahead and continue on. Let us know. I mean, talk. Go.
Yeah, I seen that handprint. I go, what the heck is that? And I kept looking at it, and I thought Kenneth played a trick. So I went to go get him. I showed him the handprint, and I go, did you do this? And he goes, no, seriously, I didn't do it. I go, come on. I go, place your hand next to it, and I want to see if it's, if it matches up with yours. Sure enough, it didn't. Only thing he did was move the dust out of the vehicle. This handprint had sticky residue, sort of like a honey substance, but harder. And it was just weird. The thumb's different. The fingers were a little longer than ours.
Well, I'm looking at the thumb. The thumb is coming out of the wrist.
Right.
Right, and it's, yeah. I mean, that doesn't look right.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't.
So compare the size of a human hand to that. I mean, the human hand was probably, let me go up to about right here.
Yeah. But the wrist is really, really skinny. I mean, it's really small. But let me get back to when the vehicle was rocking during the night. Ended up, it wasn't an earthquake. It was them placed their hands, because it ended up there was 2 handprints on there. So they placed its weight on it, or maybe they were just small and they are powerful. I don't know. But all I know, the vehicle did move, and for me to place my hands in the same place, I had to stand on a box 2 feet tall. But it could have been 2 hands, 2 separate entities, or one putting their hands on there.
Right.
but both of them had right thumbs.
Got it.
I mean, left thumbs.
Left thumbs.
Yeah, so maybe those two things, whatever it may be, and put their weight on it at the same time. I don't know, but all I know, the vehicle did shake 3 to 4 times.
Now, so did you call? So Kenneth was still with you. Did you call Ken? Now you called Ken, right?
Yeah, but not at that given time because you can't get no signal.
Oh, no signal.
So we got done packing up everything, and we're jamming back down. I wanted to get the heck out of that area, and me and Kenneth kept talking about it. And I even made him draw out a handprint with his finger, but it did the same thing. It just moved the dust out of the way. It wasn't placed on there straight down. So we finally got down to the valley, and there's one little hill right there on Camity Hills right there. And that's where you could first get signal. So I was kind of like pressing on the gas, trying to get to that point. As soon as I got to that point, I pressed the cell phone, called up Ken. I go, stay there. Don't go nowhere. I got to show you something. So we got to Ken's house, and Ken was still unloading the vehicle. It was on this driveway next to the garage door. Everybody else was outside, the rest of his family.
Mm-hmm.
And I made a U-turn, parked in front of his house.
Shit, I have him. Okay.
And that's when Ken came out. I go, check this out. So he walked, they looked at it, and everybody was saying all kinds of stuff at one given time. Like, what was it? What is it?
So Ken, when you saw, what did you feel when you saw that?
Well, what's funny, as soon as I saw it, it clicked to me. It goes, that's the alien hand. That, I knew they were there. I remember my experience. I was not imagining things. I've been camping for many, many years. I knew it wasn't, raccoons chewing in the woods around me. And I wasn't hallucinating anything, but it was true. It was a real event. When I saw that hand, that solidified my thought, and it validated what I had been through. And I go, oh my man, that is an alien hand. And what's funny is, I'm not sure the photographs you have, but we have quite a few photographs of the trip, the site, and me and Kenneth, part of our documentary that King is working on. And we have a dozen or so evidence of just the hand. We call it the big hand, little hand, and two different hands. And you can see in some pictures that we have that you can see the actual pads on their fingertips and the round pads and the little suction cups. Very clear if you get the right photograph. Well, not very clear, but very, very easy to identify those.
Right.
Hey, Ken.
When I saw that on the hood, I'm looking at it, and I'm still looking at it. I'm saying, like, man, I can see the round pad. I can see this. The fingers don't have joints. They bend from left to right without joints, which is very unique. And just all the other 8 or 9 things that we've identified as being unique to that hand. I just said, that's it. It's an alien hand. It's an alien handprint. No doubt about it.
Hey, Ken, the hand we're looking at, that we call the blue hand, even though that's the hand we're looking at.
Yeah, not the rod hand?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that's the first hand. That's the first hand, right?
Yeah.
First hand?
Also,
yes, I heard that.
Jeff, it looks like we lost you again on the internet.
Shut up.
How long ago?
Just right now, I guess. Yep, lost him. That is crazy. Okay, we're going to power it down and power it back up. Hold on.
We're not on right now, right?
No, we're not.
Okay, check this out. Right here, if you look on the other photographs, there's a rod going from here all the way to the windshield. And it's straight. It's not a water drop or anything like that.
A rod?
Yeah, it starts right there.
So,
And,
so
like it's holding something.
Like it's holding something?
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's too cool.
Yeah, it's the wand that you always hear about.
Yeah.
Jeff, that wand. That's what I talk about in abduction, etc.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna come up right now. See, I'm glad we're recording this because I'm losing all this. This would not be saving right now, at all. Is that crazy? Okay. All right. Go live. Okay, guys, we should be on now. Can you guys hear us out there? All right, we're good. Okay. Wow. Okay. If I would not be recording this on another device, all that we all that you guys just saw on live stream, it's gone. There's no way to bring it back up. Is that just crazy? Oh, It just pisses me off, guys. Nothing I can do about it. That's our government for you. So, okay. You are now. Go ahead and just Adolf was, as we were rebooting the system. Adolf was telling me something very interesting. Go ahead and tell me again about that.
Yeah, on this print right here, you really can't see it, but there's this handprint is actually holding something or placing something.
Go ahead and put your finger up there and show it where it's at.
There's what we call it the rod. It goes from about the thumb area, goes across. It goes all the way to the windshield. So whatever I thought was an earthquake, it wasn't an earthquake. They either put me to sleep after I felt the movement on the vehicle, or I'm just glad I didn't look between the seats out the windshield when I got up.
Because you would have saw whatever was on the hood of your truck.
Oh, yeah, that would have been a mess, too.
So, yeah.
I mean, I'm serious. I'm glad I did not look to the front windshield.
I've told Alan that first time I ever see a Bigfoot or Sasquatch, I am probably going to pee in my pants right there on the spot. No, I would have freaked, dude. I would have probably had a heart attack. And that's the reason why they probably put you out really quick before you saw them. I mean, it's easy. So, wow. Okay, so now you're down at Ken's place. Ken is freaking out. He says, that's a freaking alien handprint if I ever saw one. Obviously, we don't know what an alien print looks like. Now, on the chat, people are going, well, why not a Bigfoot? And again, we don't know what a Bigfoot looks like. We don't know what their hands look like. But there has been several testimonies out there where they say that Bigfoot could be possibly alien, okay? And, the whole incident where Adolf described that the deer, the doe, was, laying on a pad of, and his neck broken, why would an alien do that? Now, now this could be very well a combination of both, though. Well, okay, alien, and I'm just saying that, and I'm not saying it was Bigfoot. Don't get me wrong. But, we don't know what type of creatures are out there. A lot of people are saying that the Bigfoot creatures out there, that, that there's more than one type of alien, that we have grays, we have reptilians, other we have different types of reptiles, the whole 9 yards. So there very well could have been a combination of both here. We don't know. But obviously, that's not freaking human. I don't care what you tell me. Okay?
Yeah, I don't think that's a Bigfoot.
I don't think it's a Bigfoot either.
It's more like after a while, let me go on, but I took the photographs to VMC back then when it was Valley Medical Center. Now,
were you there at a doctor's visit type deal? Yeah,
my right knee was hurting me. I had a red spot.
Okay.
And so since I was going to the doctor, I might as well took my photographs with me, and because I've been doing my own research on it. Okay. I've been going to the library. I got a real good book on handprints, and the closest comes out as a lemur. Actually, that's the same thing that one of the doctors said.
Now go ahead, describe. Now you showed one of the doctors the photograph,
right?
And you said, "Doctor, do you know what? Tell me exactly what you told him."
Well, what happened was that I told him, I got some photographs. I want you to look at it. And, off the record, could you let me know what it is? I go, since you're a doctor, about bones and handprints and stuff. I go, would it be possible, you could spend a few minutes, look at it. He goes, yeah. So I pulled out one photo at a time. And his mouth just dropped. He got to the last one. He goes, what? He goes, what is it? I go, I was hoping you could tell me. He goes, stay right here. I go, I'm going to go get some more doctors. Okay. He ended up getting 3 more. So each one of them came in the room, and I gave each one of them a photograph, and they all switched each other, and then they were quiet for a little bit, and all of a sudden they're all saying, what is it? What is it? And they're going, like one guy was saying, it's not a bear, it's not a raccoon, it's no mammal that I'm aware of. That looks like this. So it finally went down the road. And one guy said that the closest it comes out is to a lemur. And they're not native to North America, but that's the closest it comes out to. And one of the guys said maybe it's a primate of some type. It's not a gorilla. It looks sort of like a handprint that is about 2.3 million years old. What he said. The
really?
Closest it
Now,
comes out.
how would he know that? How would the doctor
The
know
bone
it?
structure
The bone structure
of the handprint just by looking at the hand. But that's a primate. It's bipedal. It's not human. So it goes way back. And he's not saying that's what it is.
Right.
He's just saying that's the closest, and the other guy's saying it's more like a lemur.
Now, did they ask you where was this at? What happened? I mean,
One of the doctors was actually going camping to Courtright, and I told him about it. Where it's at. He goes, "That's it." He goes, "If I tell my wife, she'll never go there again." So I don't know if he told his wife.
All right. That's awesome. Okay. Now this is interesting, guys. It still even gets better than this. You're at home. You're at home now. What do you do to this handprint? I mean, do you wash your truck? What happens?
Okay, I was still having nightmares. Little bits and pieces were coming up here and there, and what really bothered me, I was really trying to remember when my door opened up. What happened when my door opened up? And I still don't know. I might have to get hypnotized or something to find out exactly, because we're all missing time.
Right.
But anyway, I was getting tired of seeing that handprint. I couldn't get that handprint out of the hood.
So what did you do the first time to get it off?
I washed the vehicle and I started rubbing compound.
Soap and water.
Yeah,
right?
soap and water. It didn't come out, and I always wax my vehicle. So I got out the buffer, got rubbing compound, tried to take it out. It would not come out. I mean, I did that 3 times, placing the buffer right on top of it. Just, I mean, 3 separate times that I used it. And it started fading away little by little, but the handprint was still there.
Okay.
And especially when it's dusty.
Right.
It'll show up again. But not as bad.
So you buffed the crap out of that hood.
Yeah.
Now, by buffing the heck out of that hood, did you leave a weird spot right where that handprint was because you buffed that particular I mean,
no,
or
it just shined like hell. I mean, but that handprint was still there. If you throw some dirt over it or dust from a garage, it comes back. But you can't see it as good as before.
Right.
But there was still some roughness to it. It didn't have as much sticky residue on there, but it was still there only because I cleaned it with the buffer.
Right.
Took out that layer.
Wow. So the hood, the truck, what did you do with it?
I got rid of it. And during that whole time, we discussed what happened, and we wasn't thinking about doing nothing about it, whatsoever.
So this was okay, people, you have to understand, this is in 2002. This is 9 years ago. Okay. Something, you don't think about preserving something like that. The windows of my truck, I was not thinking about preserving those windows until my buddy Dexter told me, damn it, you take the freaking windows off your truck. And I did. These guys here, it's been happening to them all their lives. They got pictures of it. They were not thinking later on, 6 years, 7 years down the road, that maybe possibly there was going to be a documentary made on this thing, or else he would have kept it. So, he sold it. He got rid of it. Now, what's kind of cool, though, is that I asked Adolf a while back. I go, dude, I'm an investigator of the paranormal. I want to find his freaking hood. He goes, he sold it to somebody here in Fresno, so it's got to be here. How can we locate the truck? Well, obviously, he did not know where to go, how to find this truck. Because once he got rid of it, it's gone. So a couple days ago, I go, Adolf, and I don't know if Mackenzie knows about this or not, and he probably doesn't, but check this out, Mackenzie. I told Adolf, see if you can find me the license plate number of this truck. So he went looking, and he called me the same day, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, Jeff, I found a picture of us camping with the frickin' license plate on the truck. Guess what, guys? Guess what, Mackenzie? We got the license plate number. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some calls tomorrow, and I'm going to see if we can locate this frickin' truck for you.
Awesome.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. If it's still here in Fresno, that truck has got to be still here. If it's not in the junkyard place, please, Lord, don't let that happen. And if we find it, dude, I will call you, and we will have to buy this truck off them, whatever, or go back and steal the hood off the truck.
Okay.
Okay. So he gave me the license plate. You need a magnifying glass to see this. So he gave me a license plate number. But I told him, you know what, please bring that to me so we can scan it, so we can zoom in on it. Matter of fact, do you have a scanner, Ellen, at home? Okay, I'm going to give Ellen the picture so we can scan it for me so we can pull up the license plate. Because that sucker's still got to be, if it's a running car, if you kept it like you kept, changing the fluids and all that, it's still got to be good running condition. And that sucker's still got to be here. I have a friend who's a forensic expert at the Fresno Police Department. And I asked him, as soon as we find the hood, can he bring all of his stuff on it so we can bring up, the print. He said he's got the stuff to do it. So another part of your film right here, Ben, if we can do this. So I'm going to see what I can do. As soon as I find something, Mackenzie, I'll give you a call. But there you go. So
Sounds good. Yeah, keep me posted on that.
Yeah, man. So, okay, so 2002. Now, Mackenzie, let's get back. Now, let's talk to Mackenzie about the film. Mackenzie has been a film I guess you went to film school, correct? At San Francisco State.
Yeah, I did.
You graduated, and you've been doing projects here and there. You started this project how many years ago?
Well, the first time I interviewed my Uncle Ken was actually right after it happened, probably 2003, the beginning of 2003. But at that point, I was still pretty amateurish. And we really started working on this intensely at the end of 2010. So it's been about a year and a half now that we've been working on it.
A year and a half, okay. Now, I've seen Adolf brought over a 15-minute CD that he showed me, dude, and it is awesome. You did a really, really good job with it. I can't wait until it's finally finished. But I've been in the industry, in the music industry, and for 10, 15 years now. I used to own a record label. I know it costs money to put out albums, to record albums. I mean, it takes a whole lot of freaking money. You can't do it on a salary just by yourself. I got help from people. I asked for donations in order to put out my CDs. Even my parents helped me quite a bit as they gave me money to start my record company. So obviously you're doing this by yourself. You've been doing it for about a year and a half, and you're like 2/3 almost done, correct?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of shooting, we're about 2/3 done. There's still some loose ends to tie up, and then we're about 1/3 done with the editing. Maybe a little bit farther along than that. Okay, now you're doing this by yourself, and obviously you have people assisting you with cameras and whole 9 yards, right? Right. Yeah, we have a crew, kind of a rotating crew, but it's really small. But it's usually people kind of helping us out, donating their time.
Sure.
But we have kind of a big network to choose from because of the film school connections. So it's basically people into the project and just willing to help out. Okay, so now this is where the reason why I wanted you guys to come on is because this, when I first heard the story from Adolf and Ken many years ago, I said this is right up there with the movie Communion. If anybody has ever seen the movie Communion, this is like...
I own a copy. It's my favorite of all time. I own a copy.
So, this is right freaking there. I mean, I could see this in a freaking movie theater or as a movie of the week, okay? Now, I have connections who are production companies in L.A., and I've asked them to listen tonight, or if not, they're going to listen tonight. They're going to, and I'm going to send them a link eventually so they can see this. I told them what this was all about, and matter of fact, one of the production company persons that I'm working with right now saw it, and she said, "Oh my God, I can't wait to see, or hear it." I actually gave her the link to the video, and she saw it, and she freaked out. Cool. I am, I'm going to try to, like I said, right now, what we want people to do is help put this, see if we can make this film on our own. But if we can get a major production company to come in and go, "Mackenzie, let's come into our office. We want to talk to you. We want to see if we can do this together." So be it. I'm sure you'd want to do that, right, Mackenzie? I mean,
well, honestly, at this point, we're so close to being done.
So you want to do it that way?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're, the way we've been doing it has been fine. We're just sort of trying to fundraise for the last push of shooting.
Okay.
Afterwards, we're up for talking to people. But in terms of finishing up the project as it is, I think we.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are 2/3 already done, so sure, I can totally understand. I mean, like me, when I had my record company, I had people who wanted to come in and invest a lot of money, but then they would want either a quarter of your company or half of your company, and I said, no, I think I'm going to do this on my own because, this is your project and you want to finish it yourself, and I can totally understand where you're coming from with this. So this is what we're going to try to do. We want the people who are watching this and listening to us, see if we can make this happen by donating to his cause. He has to come up with about $7,000 by the 22nd of next month. He has a day that he wants to see if he wants to release this fall, 2012. So there is a website that you can actually go. It's on Kickstarter. Is that correct?
That's right. Kickstarter.com.
Kickstarter.com. Now, so if people go to Kickstarter.com, and what do they type in? Is there like a search bar there?
There is a search bar, and if you just type out the words 101102, all separated by spaces, it should be the only one that pops up, and you'll see it. There's a picture of that handprint is the logo for the project.
Okay, so now,
really easy to find.
So now, not the numeric numbers, but spell it out in letter form, correct?
Right.
So TEN dash. What was it? 10.
No dashes, just spaces.
Oh, the spaces. So 10. 1102 space by okay, got it. Okay, so people, we need your help. Go to that website, and right now on the chat, he went and placed the fundraising link on there for Kickstarter, and you can donate, from $5 all the way up, and there is, he specifies on there if you donate a certain amount of money, that you will get something for it. So if you're donating money, it's not like you're not going to see anything for it. So if you put in $10, $25, $50, $100, $500, $1,000, then if you literally put in over $1,000, you become an associate producer on this thing, and many things will come from that. So you have to go to that website. And, there's actually, if you put in, let's say the minimum, let's say $25. What do you get for $25?
$25 gets you limited online streaming of the finished film. And you could buy a DVD copy for $10 once the film is done.
Okay.
And it comes with a 4x6 print of the handprint, high-quality print.
Sweet. So, again, too, you have to go to the website, Kickstarter, type in 101102, and on the right-hand side, you can scroll down, and you have the number of amounts that he has on there that it will tell you exactly what you get as far as how much you donate. And I'm going to go ahead and donate myself. I'm going to give you $100 tomorrow.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, so hopefully, should we get this thing going along? Now, you are going to, once you get this thing done, you're going to submit these to small film festivals, correct?
Yeah, I mean that's the hope, that it's going to run the festival circuit, and we're going to come up with some kind of distribution system for the DVDs. We haven't really decided yet if it's going to be best to go independent and just do it ourselves, or link up with a distribution company. But there are a lot of avenues to pursue. There's view on demand with all the, online streaming and all that. Mm-hmm. So there'll be multiple ways to view it once it's done.
What is the length of this feature? Is it going to be an hour? Or is it going to be an hour and a half, 2 hours?
We're shooting for 1 hour.
Okay.
Typically for a documentary, over an hour is considered a feature. And if we can get it to close to an hour. We can maybe trim it a little bit for broadcast if it can go that route.
I can tell you right now, as soon as you're done, dude, Discovery Channel, History Channel, they're going to be knocking on your door to put this on TV. I guarantee it, dude. And then after that, I can see a feature film. I mean, it's a done deal.
Yep.
I mean,
we had talked about that, and one thing that Kinky kind of had I guess taught me or I understood is that we were trying to keep it local. You, Jeff, and me, and Ken, if we want to keep it local and kind of keep it real,
right?
Away from the commercial, because I think if you get too fast foodish, if you will, like you see all these little blips here and there, then it loses, I think, its value and its truthfulness. It becomes more of a commercial thing than a real, in my opinion, life-changing event.
Right.
And we want to keep it, like that, and keep the integrity of the project. So we protect all the copyrighted, the photographs and the hands and the stories were protected, because what we're concerned about, we don't want it to lose its originality.
Sure. Now you did
impact on people.
Now you did patent the handprint or copyrighted it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we trademarked the handprint image, which we had drawn freely, and we copied all the photographs as well.
Okay. Okay.
The idea is that we don't want people to start making it 10 over 2.3, 0.4, 0.5. Then you can't tell. Okay, it loses its originality at some point, and it loses its truthfulness. And because it's a true story, and it's an over 10-year span, we want to make sure we keep it, if we can, as real as it is.
Right.
And not get lost in all the voice of the same type fast food things that are out there now, because this is unique. This is the only handprint like this we've ever seen like it.
Right.
And we don't want it to get distorted through time, and people get involved. And like you said, Jeff, in your ventures, they want to get in and make it this and make it that. Well, no, this is exactly what it is.
Right.
And it's
right.
not that.
Well, but are you guys eventually once it gets out there, would you love to see it on the big screen? I mean, an actual.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah? Okay.
I think a friend of mine told me that this movie does for camping what Child does for swimming. And it is that changing to me. And when I told my friends years ago, they couldn't sleep. And they said, "Oh my God, no more. I'm done camping."
Well, I can tell you right now. I when I went onto Facebook, I said, "This will be the last time you go camping."
Very true.
Especially in Courtright.
And what's funny is what we've discussed and seen is it's only a small part of the iceberg.
Right.
There's things that happen even as of today. We still have events. They still come visit Adolf. They visit me. They visit Tina. There's so much we don't know. We have to get looked into in terms of being hypnotized. We have to get polygraphs to show the folks, hey, this is not made up. It's all real.
Now,
there's just so much more to do.
Now, what people don't know is that this is now occurring in your homes, and your wife has actually seen the lights in your bedroom, correct?
Yes, she's been filmed by Kinsey. She did a great job. It's been part of her life now since I came back for almost 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
We've got photographs of odd bruises and things that happen, and we document those and we record those.
You want to show that?
Because it's an ongoing story.
Let's zoom in.
And that's actually one of the things that makes this film quite unique among other films in the genre, is that most of the time when you see something about UFOs, be it on TV or in a film, you get really short snippets and it kind of glides along the surface, and you don't really get very deep. You don't really get time to really absorb and contemplate what you saw. Whereas ours is very focused. It takes one small group of people, and it really goes deep into the subject, and it allows you the time to really think about what's going on and to really let your imagination kind of go where it will go.
Sure. Now, I was talking to Adolf before we went on the air tonight, and he was telling Ellen and I about these things are still happening to him, and he showed us a mark on his leg that he has no freaking clue where it came from, among other markings in his body. Now, obviously, you work for the Fresno School District.
Yeah, right now I've been off actually I go back to work February the 14th, so I've been off. So I haven't been working. I've just been staying at the house.
Okay. So what we're gonna do is, I just asked him right now, are you willing to show the mark on your leg? And he said, sure. So Alan is going to zoom in on his leg really quick. I would say stand, if you want, stand. Yeah, just go ahead and go over there, pull up your pant leg real quick, and see if you can go ahead and. He has no clue where that came from, people.
Yeah, I woke up one morning and it was itching, and I looked down and I had a cut.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not really a cut; it's like a burn of some type.
Like a chemical burn. We kind of thought it was, or it's like, yeah, it's really.
Now, is there any other markings? You were showing me like a bruise.
Yeah. Earlier today, I got
Okay.
two. Which one is it? Is it this one?
The one up there?
Yeah.
Wow. Show that. Put it at the camera. I don't know if you can
one?
see
Is there
that.
two of them?
Yeah, there's two of them there.
Yeah, I did not have this yesterday.
Zoom up. Up to his elbow. There you go, right there.
Yeah, you know what's weird? There's a bruise around it, and it's like cut in the center.
Whoa. We need to get a metal detector on you. No, I'm serious. We need a metal detector. I have a frequency scanner, high frequency scanner that I would like to, put around you, see if we can, there's some things that I have that I want to mess with you and see if you can make my gadgets and gizmos go cuckoo. And that's the stuff that I think, that would be awesome on TV. This could go so far. Mackenzie's not even funny. A lot of people think we're alone in this frickin' universe. You got to be out of your frickin' mind. As simple as that.
Oh.
What's up?
Also, I forgot to mention, I had this cut on my leg for about a month and a half.
This thing here?
Yeah. And the only thing it does, it heals over just a thin layer of where it dries up your skin.
Mm-hmm.
And that falls off, then it starts bleeding again. Have you
gone to the doctor?
No.
Yeah.
Got no insurance, so.
Oh, bummer.
Got no money.
So.
But it's getting smaller, but slowly, very, very slowly. Normally it doesn't take this long for me to heal.
Wow. And like I said, this story is just freaking. How many more hundreds of people out there have the same experience, same abduction stories? I have a family here in Fresno. His name is Jamar and Choli. The light that you guys the light that Ken witnesses in your bedroom. Because when I went over to Ken's house and he took me to his bedroom and he showed me up in this corner where the light would start to move like a laser, right, Ken? Like this, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
My buddy Jamar and his wife Choli in his house right here by the airport, but they don't live there anymore. That same light would appear right beneath their fan in their family room at nighttime when they would be asleep. He'd be asleep on the on the couch, and all of a sudden, this light would start doing that. And it's like, as soon as he told me that, I just thought, Ken's house. I went, you got to be freaking kidding me. And they've been abducted, the whole family, for a long period of time as well, here in Fresno.
Exactly.
Also, the same light that you're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
I had the same thing happen to me when I lived in Clovis, out there off Gettysburg and Purdue area. There was a light close to the corner of the room. The walls were red. And what I did, I traced it. I got a marker. I traced all the way around.
While the light was actually on.
Yeah. While I was on, I had those curtains in the window. This happened in the bedroom.
Okay.
I even put blankets over the window, make sure there was no light coming in from nowhere else. You put your hand in front of it, about that far away, and there'll be no light on your hand. It wouldn't cast a shadow. My hand wouldn't cast a shadow on the wall. Just that light was coming out of the wall.
Out of the
like
wall
a
itself.
portal of some type.
Holy crap. Now, this is what Ken also mentioned to me, that while they were be sleeping in their bedroom and they were looking toward the restroom area. There's a little hallway. He said that's where he thinks the portal opens and they come out. So, you're not the first time I've heard this. Even Jamar mentioned it to me as well. It's like...
Yeah, it's been happening to us at the house since '02, and here it is almost 10 years later. And we've tried to touch it before, and both he and I have looked at it, and it's just very, very strange.
Have they?
Very well, very well too.
Now, obviously, we know they've been abducting you, Ken. Have they started doing anything to your wife?
Yeah, they have. She's a little bit scared to talk about it, but she's been there through everything. When I live, I live, 2 places now more. But when I was there before I moved to my job, it would come sometimes very on and off for almost 2 weeks straight. Sometimes it would seem. And one time, she remember sticks in my mind. They came in. I was there kind of halfway in the days, and they had made them look like me to her, so she screamed and said, "It's not you, it's not you." And it was them looking right at her, clearly at the bell, and
holy
that was really hard
shit.
for her. That was very difficult for her to get past that one. But
man.
I don't know if they abducted her. I'm assuming they probably have, because they tend to go, that tends to be their MO. They find someone, they know someone, and then next thing you know, there you are.
Wow.
Involved now for 10 years.
Go ahead and change out the disc.
That's kind of my thought.
Okay, we're going to stop here really quick here, and we're going to change out the disc one more time, and then we'll talk a little bit more.
Cool.
And we're on. Okay, we're back on, and this is the third disc that we're putting on in the third final hour. I can't believe. See, it went by quick, didn't it? And
Yeah,
see,
pretty quick.
you were like freaking, and I don't blame you, dude. I mean, this is scary stuff.
But even the amount of time that we're covering right now,
There's so much still
it
left.
don't even come close
Oh, I know.
to...
I mean, you have to understand, too, people, that when I interviewed Adolf 3 years ago, whatever it was, we went with him to Hensley Lake.
Right.
He gets the urge to just, I got to go out to this certain location, and he doesn't know why. And he's fishing, and it's like 9 o'clock in the morning, and then all of a sudden, he wakes up, and you're at a different part of the area.
Yeah.
Right? Give us an example.
I mean, a lot of times, like, this happens a lot at Dinky
Creek.
Dinky Creek. You'll be fishing, because we always walk down about a half mile away from the road, and there's some nice spots. And, you get there early in the morning. Next thing you know, it's almost getting dark. And you didn't put bait on that line at all. So you're missing time constantly, all the time. You always have to, just like I was saying when you're driving. I mean, me and Ken's always looking at our watch, timing ourselves, see how long. Out there at Hensley, there was me and my ex-girlfriend, Donna. And, I mean, this is such a long story. I don't know if we're going to have enough time to say it. But
really quick.
But basically, we went there. Well, we stopped in Pinedale, got a 4-pack of wine coolers, went to Hensley. I knew this area, so we could make out and everything. We were young bucks back then. And I gave her a wine cooler, and we made a U-turn. All of a sudden, there was a light coming, and it was just getting dark. And that was my plan, getting there right when it gets dark. And all of a sudden, this thing parked right behind us. Where we're parked at, there's rock and gravel on the side of the road, so you could hear tire tracks when they make a U-turn. There was no noise whatsoever. Their lights was on, but it wasn't like you have 2 headlights on. It was just the whole thing was bright. You couldn't define what kind of vehicle it was or anything like it. It was just one big light. So I told her, let's pretend we're making out. Now I already had my mirror set up where I could see in the back. So we're pretending we're kissing. I'm looking up, waiting for somebody to get out. Nobody did. I go, you know what? We're gone. And I already had the vehicle on. So we peeled out. This light stayed right behind us. And then finally we hit a straightaway. I started pulling away. By that time I was going like 75 miles an hour down this short little area. And I was going to make a left-hand turn because there's a road that goes all the way to Highway 41. It's a back road. But I just let go of the gas. I did not press on the brakes. I didn't want them to see that my brake light was coming on.
Right.
So they wouldn't know I'm slowing down. So when I came around this corner, I kind of like slid all the way around. Next thing I know, we woke up probably about 3.5, 4 hours later.
Jesus.
With my head on my steering wheel, her head on the lap. The vehicle was facing the wrong direction. and we're parked right there by a stop sign. And she woke up first. I heard her screaming. I woke up, and she goes, "What the blank happened?" And I look around. It's dark. I mean, I don't know if they took the whole vehicle, because I'm sure other cars went by there during this whole time. If we were there all that time, somebody would have stopped and seen the vehicle, or somebody would have reported something for that many hours. And remember, we got there right when it got dark.
Right.
So, and when we woke up, it was like 11:30 at night.
Wow.
We don't know what happened till later on. Things started coming up, and ended up we did go down that road, and we did see a craft on the right side. There was a small little stream, not sort of like a little creek, and you could see them down there. They came up to the vehicle.
See them?
Them.
Describe them.
Them, just your regular
grays. Wow.
Regular grays. And then my vehicle stopped right there. I did not stop it. Stopped by itself. They came up. They grabbed her, or they grabbed the door on her side, grabbed it on mine. There was 3 on my side, 2 on hers. They're trying to open the door. She's locking it. She's crying out bloody murder. My doors are locked. And she has a door. I have the door handle. And we're holding arms like this, so they won't open the door. Finally, they broke her loose. Her door opened up, and my door is still locked. I went, well, shit, I can't let her go. So I let go of my door. They opened up my door, and they pulled us out. She's screaming bloody murder. They took us around the vehicle, and you know what's strange is that I wouldn't go ahead and walk with them. I wasn't fighting with them, and they're short little suckers. But there was one guy that was talking, where everybody, when he talked, everybody looked at him. He was taller, and he looked a little different, more like a hybrid of some type. He just looked a little different. His nose was a little bigger, his head not quite as big. He was taller. His skin complexion was not as gray, you could say, little like a lighter gray kind of.
Did he have any type of clothes?
Yeah, it was just skin type, material type. I don't know.
The craft, the craft, or was it just lit up and you couldn't tell the shape of it?
No,
or?
Acorn shape.
Acorn shape.
Yeah.
God, I have some pictures out in the car. God, where did I put them? I had a family witness an acorn, and the whole family drew me pictures.
Oh, really?
Where in the heck? Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Well, I don't have them with me right now.
Okay,
I actually did an episode on a while back. I'll find them here before you leave, and I'll show them to you.
So ended up, they pulled us out of there. That guy talked, or mentally talked to them. And I looked at him like, you're different. Next thing, that's when we woke up at the beginning of the vehicle. So I don't know what happened after that point.
Right.
And that's when we woke up. She's screaming, like the way I was saying. The car had a hard time starting. And I had I think it was an 84 Mustang, or 79 Mustang. And so I finally got it started. She's screaming. And so I got it started, turned on the lights. We made a left, started going down that road. You know, I was going as fast as I could. Places I was probably hitting close to 100, and it was kind of curvy in that area, so I had to be really careful. And all of a sudden she looks up, that thing, there's a light right above us. And the light wasn't shooting down at us, it was shooting in front of us, not on the ground level, but up in the sky.
From the craft.
Yeah, and she looked up, and it's right there.
Now,
it's
when so you guys, did the vehicle have a sunroof?
Yeah, she's looking through the sunroof. I couldn't keep I couldn't look up because I was driving so fast. She looked up, and yeah, it was right above us, following us. And there's a road that cuts across to Highway 145 from that road, and I was going way too fast, and I turned, and the whole vehicle slid, hit the inside of the embankment. The car went up like this, bounced up, went back down. And I just pressed on the gas, kept on going. She's screaming, and she looks up, and it's gone. I go, oh, cool. And I was telling her that once we see another vehicle, once we get on Highway 145, we'll be fine, because there'll be other lights, human I said human. There'll be other humans around, and we'll be safe. So we got to a Highway 45, or right before Highway 145. She noticed a light to the left side, and it's flying over the cornfields. And got to 145. I just glanced. I didn't really stop, and and now I'm heading east. So we're going. I see a light way far in the distance. So I'm pressing the gas faster so I could get to this light. It's like, oh, good, there's other people around, so we could feel safe. And she's screaming bloody murder, cussing and everything like that. And then all of a sudden we went over a bridge. And what's weird about this bridge is only probably about 100 feet across, probably, with the railings. And we went over the bridge. All of a sudden, we're back at the beginning of the bridge again. And we both looked at each other like, whoa, that was weird. So I pressed on the gas harder, and we're going to cross it, but it was like going slow motion. It was like something you see in the movies. I couldn't believe what was actually going on. And again, we got to the other side, and she looks at it and she goes, what the? All of a sudden, we're back at the beginning again. So
wow.
I don't know if they were taking us during that time and placing us back in there. I don't know, but by the time I went over the third time, I pressed on the gas even harder, and it seemed like I hit some type of barrier because there was no sound whatsoever. And you could see the speed monitor going way up there, but yet you looked to the sides, everything was slow motion. But after we broke that barrier type, there was this thing on the front of the vehicle on the passenger side, the headlight level. There was this thing standing there.
Describe it.
Alien type, gray. And he was standing there. And she seen it. I seen it. She goes, hit that blank, blank, blank. And she goes, hit that. She said it several times. And I got tempted to slam my brakes, but there's no way I would have had time anyway. So I pressed on the gas. I hit that sucker. And it was a gray.
Now, you hit it?
I hit it. Broke my headlight. Messed up my fender. Part of my grill. And after I hit it, it went to the side. I finally slammed on my brakes. And for a while, my brake marks were there for quite a while. And I backed up, and then you could see this thing. It was just walking to a light on the other side of the creek, on the other side of the embankment. It was there. It was going back to its vehicle.
So obviously, now
I didn't kill it.
Well, obviously, when it was going back, was it like it was limping or just normal walk?
No, I think it was just normal walk. Just like ground level wasn't smooth. I don't think I even heard it. I think once I hit it, it kind of like bounced off. There was no sound, no crying sound of any type whatsoever. Yeah, I had to replace my headlight, part of my grill. Dented up front corner of the bumper. Not the bumper, the fender. Yeah, and I was going fast.
See, people, this is the shit that's happening in Fresno.
So after that happened, she's screaming and everything like that, and I'm trying to calm her down. And 145, the road's pretty straight, but it's hilly. So anytime you go on top of the hill, you could see the other vehicle, and then you don't. So it's all like that. And I was going, God, why isn't this car coming toward me? I'm going, it's been a while, and I'm waiting for this car, and I'm telling her, let's wait till this car comes by, and we'll be fine. It never did. Ended up, it was their vehicle. It was following us. It was in front of us.
Shit.
So right before we got to Highway 41, it went across the field and went straight up.
Okay, now 145 is off of the 41.
Right.
Now, we stopped at a bridge. Now, people, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, like I said, we followed Adolf. Now, was that your ex-girlfriend back then? Did it happen? No, just a different one. Okay, we followed him, and he took us to this area. Adolf at one point told us about a house that was out in this area, and he said it was a weird looking, an odd location for this particular house to be. And he said that he has witnessed black vehicles parked there.
Yeah.
Right? He took me out there with the SPS people, and on the fence, it says property of the United States government on it. And it's fenced off. There is a dish on top of this house with a weird looking antenna. And why in the middle of freaking nowhere does it say property of the United States government on there? And it's on to this, and it's on there right now. I could take you there and you can see the freaking not poster, but the metal sign on the fence where this is located. This is where all this stuff happened, right around this area.
Actually, when me and Donna drove by there on the way to Hensley, there was a government vehicle right there with two guys in it when we drove by. And that's the first time it caught my eye that this is a weird, it doesn't look right.
Right.
But there was two guys parked in front of the driveway, just sitting there facing west. And we kind of slowed down and we looked at them. They kind of looked at us also. But the same night, something happened. So I don't know. I don't know if there's a connection or not. It's just coincidence. I don't know. Don't know.
See, people, this is what is going on down here. There's I don't even know where to begin. I mean, Mackenzie, Ken, you guys still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Sorry, man. This is like an awesome story, dude. This is it only makes this whole thing totally 110% believable. I know people are probably, if you look on the frickin' chat, some girl just said, "What the fuck?"
and we're not saying the, and we're not saying the whole story.
Every time I talk about this to anybody, it ends up being an hour-long conversation at the minimum.
Yeah, and you can continue going on forever and ever. I mean, this is crazy. So, okay, let's go ahead and just let's wrap this up, I guess. I mean, because I know people have to go to work tomorrow and stuff. So, Ken, what do you want to say, man? What do you want to say, brother?
Well, thanks for your time. I appreciate it. Good talking to you again. It's been a couple years.
Right.
And we're Kenzie's here. And it's funny. It took so long to get here. It'll be 10 years this October, but we're looking forward to the work. You're doing a great job on the trailer.
I have seen the 16-minute one, dude. It looks awesome. It looks awesome.
It's phenomenal. And
yes.
I tell you, and you're right. This we see movies out there and these things from time to time on Discovery Channel, and they're so thin, and they're just so not much to them.
Right.
Well, what's kind of amazing about this is, you have the handprint, and then you have me, and then you have Adolf, and you have Tina and Kenneth, and you have it's just one big giant nightmare. Like that.
This is a 3-hour episode. I mean, starting with with Adolf, going through all your lives. I mean, God, this is like a week-long thing. I mean, somebody could have a field day with this, but I think it's all going to start. It's all going to start with Mackenzie. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's a great documentary or a great true life horror film. Make your choice. Either one is just phenomenal. Because it's real and it's true, which I think makes it very, very even much more unique. It's well worthwhile because it is real.
Mackenzie, Ellen just said, has anything happened to you while you've been filming this?
Good question. So far, no, not that I know of, and I'd like to keep it that way. I'm sort of, it's been in the back of my mind throughout the process, and I'm just hoping that we're able to get it done before anything like that happens. And also, I feel like where I'm coming from is a little bit different, maybe than the typical group who's producing these types of films. I was mainly interested in it at first because it happened to my uncle and because of the personal connection, and so I just thought it was a great story and I wanted to know more.
Were you a believer? Were you a believer in this stuff before Ken told you what happened?
I wouldn't say I was a disbeliever, but I didn't really pay too much attention to it. I never really thought about it much. And to be honest, if it weren't for my uncle telling me the story, if it were just a stranger, I would have a much harder time believing it.
Absolutely.
And I feel like that's one of the things that the film can enlighten people about is that, I want people to sort of put yourself in my shoes. Imagine that it's your relative, one of your close relatives or your close friends telling you this, and it's hard not to believe them, It's,
right.
It's, yeah.
I totally understand where you're coming from. A lot of people talk about this kind of stuff, but when it comes to somebody that credibility plays a big part in this. Military personnel, law enforcement officers have seen these things, but when it comes from a relative of yours, then this is, this is truth. Because when I first interviewed Adolf and Ken, I have a sense of when I know people are bullshitting me and not, and I knew right off the bat this was not a bullshit story that just happened. Only because too that I've been investigating this stuff for so long that this is not the first time I've heard something like this happening here in the central San Joaquin Valley. Not quite as detailed as this handprint. I mean, this is just so freaking awesome. It's not even funny.
Yeah, that's what's unique about this is that there's actually a handprint.
There's evidence. Yeah. There's freaking evidence.
And I wouldn't be sitting here trying to talk about it if there was no handprint,
right? And
if I didn't have a good friend with me during that time. Otherwise, I wouldn't be saying nothing.
Right, your mouth would have been shut.
Yeah. So,
I totally understand where you're coming from on this. So, all right. Well, let's give that website once more. It's Kickstarter.com. Mackenzie is almost finished with this documentary. He is 2/3 the way through. He needs about $7,000 left. There's about I don't know how much money is in there, but people have been donating.
Yeah, we've been doing pretty well so far. We've raised about $1,300 out of our $7,000 goal. And we have 22 days left, so we still definitely need the help. But hopefully, we're on our way to reaching our goal and getting this thing done.
Sweet.
Also, eventually, me and Ken's going to be having a website. It's being built right now. So eventually, if everything goes right, we'll probably end up selling probably T-shirt caps with the handprint on there.
Absolutely. That's. I mean,
eventually, may as well take advantage of it.
Sure.
It's trademark.
Absolutely.
May as well use it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, go to Kickstarter.com, put in, and it has to be written out in letter form, 101102, 10 TEN, then the word 11, 0, and TWO. And
just to make a quick correction,
sure.
Not a 0, it's the letter O.
The letter O, I'm sorry, 10. Oh, you got it, 101102. And donate whatever you can, people, so we can get this thing on the roll to film festivals. Now, when you debut this thing, when it does happen, and I have a feeling it's going to happen, where are you going to debut this thing?
Ideally, I'd actually like to have a premiere in Fresno. That's kind of where I grew up. That's where most of the filming has taken place, in and around the Fresno area. And I think there's probably a receptive crowd. As I've been researching, there's a lot of weird things happening in the valley.
You think?
And
think? You think,
so
dude?
I
will, dude.
Good avenue for it. Yeah.
When you do it in Fresno, I will help you push this thing. And oh my God, I am all there. I am all there. So
I'll be looking forward to it.
Right on. So okay, guys. Ken, Mackenzie, I'll let you go. I appreciate you guys coming on tonight. Mackenzie, let's talk some more later on during the week. Ken, have a good day.
Definitely.
Tomorrow, okay?
Thank you, Jeff. Take care.
All right.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night, you guys.
Appreciate it.
Okay, take care. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Wow, guys, this was like I don't know. Wow, I am lucky we recorded this on. You guys on the chat. I'm speechless. I'm just okay. So, Adolf,
It was a pleasure.
Thank you very much for coming on, dude. The listeners right now are freaking out, and this was an awesome show. I can't wait to put this on the internet for everybody to see. This is the stuff that's happening in the central San Joaquin Valley, nonstop from, creatures, flying creatures, aliens, Sasquatch. It's happening here in the central San Joaquin Valley, and there's got to be a reason for it. and that's why I am here to hopefully get to the bottom of this. So, you guys need to let me know when things are happening around there. Give me a call, and we will get down to the bottom of this. So, again, I appreciate Adolf and everybody coming on tonight. Wow, that was an awesome night tonight. I will see everybody next week. Super Bowl Sunday next week, so we're going to do it Saturday night, okay? We're going to let everybody go ahead and just have a good time on football Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. I'll have something going good on Saturday, so make sure you guys tune in at 7 o'clock Saturday night. For everybody who's watching, thank you very much, and I will see everybody next Saturday. Peace out.